Here at Gundam Planet, we're all about staying totally unbiased and trying to bring you the most objective reviews possible, which is why me, known UC elitist, is going to review a Gundam Seed mobile suit. That's right, it's the Strike Gundam. But this isn't just your ordinary Strike Gundam, this is the 1/60th big scale Strike Gundam. And what that means is it's basically a big ol' high grade. And you saw, I'm assuming you saw Nick's review of the 1/60th big scale Exia, so this is kind of a follow-up to that. And just fun fact, I love these 1/60th big scale kits because they're big and they stand it on your shelf and they're a fun, stress-free build. They have a Shining Gundam, a God Gundam, and a Wing Zero. I did all those and I really enjoyed them, you know. You just kind of have to know what to expect. They're not going to be detailed, a lot of big parts, not a whole lot of part separation, but I think it's a fun build worth doing. So we're just going to dig right in to this guy right here. So, starting off, you got this runner right here, which immediately shows the fact that it's just big parts, not a whole lot of detail, no part separation, you know, just big feet. I think the color looks really nice. You know, on some of the other 1/60th big scales, like the Shining Gundam, the colors looked kind of muted and I wasn't too crazy about it. But on this guy, actually, this was a really nice red, so I'm really excited about that. Moving on, you get, like, a little bit of inner frame to keep the whole thing, like, structurally sound. So, like, here's some leg parts, bottom of the feet, joints, you know, nothing too crazy, but just enough so that it's not just a big hollow mess, because otherwise it would just not stand. This runner here, you have your gun, which, like, isn't the most detailed gun ever, but, you know, if you do some work to it, it probably looks good, and it, you know, it does the job. You got waist parts here, some more little bits of inner frame. Got a big old sheet of polycaps. And this is really what's going to hold the whole kit together, so it's not too surprising that there's a bunch of polycaps, because it's the whole, I guess, like, what keeps it from falling apart, basically, so that's not too big of a deal. Got these blue parts here, not a whole lot of blue parts, but again, this is a nice looking blue. I'm into it. I think the colors really pop on this thing, so that is pretty exciting. More inner frame, more inner frame. You got... Here you have the hands, and it's the same thing with the other 1/60th big scales. They come with these sort of articulated fingers, and because they all come individually in different runners, you put them in these joints, and you put them inside these big ol' hands over here. And the fingers themselves aren't articulated, but you can move them around, and that's more than you would usually get, you know, with a high grade, or even sometimes master grades have those fused fingers, so it's pretty cool. Got more little bits inner frame here, and then moving on to these white runners, and again, I think this white looks really good. It's a nice, like, clean looking white, really pops off when you look at it, and it's mostly just, you know, the armor parts go around it. The Strike Gundam is, like, mostly white. Same thing here. On here, you know, you got your head, most of the shields, got your V-fin. It's just a whole bunch of white going on here, and, you know, the whole thing is that it's not very detailed. It kind of just is what it is. Then, a great thing, though, is that there's, like, almost no stickers. It's just the eye sticker and little stickers with the cameras, so I actually like that a lot. There's almost no stickers going on here. And then last but not least, you have the manual, which is just this, like, big old magazine-looking thing. This manual is huge. And then you open it up, and it's like, oh, who's that? Who are these friends right here? Who are these people? They're going to teach you how to build the model. I don't know what they're talking about, but they seem really excited about it, so I'm excited about it too. This manual is really cool because the whole thing is in full color. You get this little breakdown of what you're working on, showing you right there. Oh no! You get this breakdown showing what you're doing, and the manual is very clean. And honestly, as far as manuals go, it's actually really easy to follow. So that is very cool, and I just think that these big 60 scale no grades are just, like, the coolest thing, and I love doing them. So even though I'm not the biggest fan of the Gundam Seed, I'm not the biggest fan of the Strike Gundam, I still think it'll be pretty cool, so I'm just gonna get right to it. Okay, so here we are. The 1/60th Strike Gundam is done, and it's pretty cool. I mean, just at immediate first glance, he's just a big man, and, like, that is probably the coolest part about this whole kit, is that he's just big. And, you know, I know perfect grade exists, and there is a perfect grade of this guy, so I'm just going to get it right out of the way. This is no replacement for the perfect grade. The perfect grade Strike Gundam is such a clean looking model, nice proportions, nice details. It's like really, really cool looking. This is not that, and it's a lot cheaper, so like, you know, it kind of just is what it is. But that being said, that doesn't mean I don't recommend building this, because I still think this was a really fun model to put together. I did it in pretty much one sitting, and I just like never really felt bored by it, because the whole process of building this is super streamlined, nothing complicated, nothing that's going to stress you out, just, you know, real easy building. And as far as the looks go, you know, it looks really nice. It gets the design of the Strike Gundam across well without having as good proportions as other Strike Gundam kits, and it's just like, it's a little, you know, it's just a little off in certain places, but the overall view of the kit, when you look at it, is nice. Everything looks clean, and all of the colors are nice, and everything looks the way it should. So, as far as just the way it looks and the way it builds, not a whole lot to really be said other than that. It kind of just does what it does. So, as with the Exia, the 160 Exia, we can't really zoom in on him because he's so big. So I'm just going to show you how it articulates right now. And don't get your hopes up, because it doesn't really do all that much. The 160 Exia Gundam posed pretty nicely for what it was, and that's where this one doesn't really kind of like stand up to that one. Everything is single jointed. There is no double joints going on, so you're just going to get that one bend, and that's it. You're not getting anything further than that. But because of the way this kit is, I don't really think you need anything more than that, because it gets the point across, but don't expect any big posing out of there. You can kind of move the waist, but like not really. The waist is just like, I can even just show you right now if it wants to come out. It's just a peg. So there's nothing fancy in there. It just pegs right in there, so you're not going to get any sort of exciting movement out of the waist. But again, like everything else with this kit, it gets the job done. So that's fine. The hands are pretty cool because, like I said in the beginning of the video, you get these like semi-articulated fingers, so the knuckles don't move, but you can kind of bend them down like that. It's kind of hard to get them to make a fist because of the way the fingers are, but, you know, when you have the gun in his hand, it looks fine. And we can talk about the gun real quick. It is very unexciting. It has the gun, and it has the handle that swivels, and it has a little peg, so once you get it into the hand, it's not going anywhere. It pegs in there real nice, no problems. Shield, equally kind of unexciting. It looks good. And it just pegs into the arm, so you're not going to get like a whole lot of good movement, but it's in there nice, and then it sits right in the hand, so just hold him there just like that. And, you know, that pretty much covers it. It's 160th Strike Gundam. He's big, he's mean, and he's no perfect grade, but he's fun. And real quick, I almost forgot about his little switchblades that he keeps in his skirt armor. So they're pretty basic and not colored properly, and the thing just swivels out. But that is it. So, do I recommend this kit? Yes, I do. I wouldn't exactly get my hopes up about anything spectacular, but if you're like me and you like building cool big things, then for the price, you can't really go wrong with this. So, for the most part, I do recommend it. So, there you go. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching my review of this big man right here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And as always, if you liked it, hit that like button. Just do it. Just hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We want to see all those subscribers. We want to get you guys these videos as much as possible. Leave a comment. I want to know what your thoughts on this. Let me know if you built it. Let me know if you built Perfect Grade. Let me know if you built any Strike Gundams. I want to talk to you about this model because I thought it was a cool model. And check out our other videos. You're going to see those 2 videos down there. You know, you can click them. You can check them out. We have a whole bunch of other videos. Those aren't the only 2 videos we have. We have so many. And as always, be sure to click that link for our friend Mars Sound, who does the music you heard in this video. And, you know, other than that, you know I said in the beginning of this video that I'm a bit of a UC elitist, but I think that might have been an over-exaggeration because, you know, I like G Gundam too.